Happy Thursday, everybody. Happy Mayo Thursday. Here on Between the Years, West Virginia winners in the Duke's Mayo Bowl, 30-10 over the North Carolina Tar Heels as the Mountaineers end their 2023 season with a 9-4 record and a ton of momentum heading into the month of January and then into spring ball. This is a very interesting time, I think, for West Virginia. It's an opportunity for this team to really kind of take its next leap, or really the first major leap under head coach Neil Brown. And this is arguably the first time that such hope has existed in his tenure. So we're going to talk a lot about that, obviously, over the next several weeks, months, and the offseason. But I want to specifically keep this episode, at least for today, around the game. And we'll start diving into all that stuff, what this win means moving forward, probably starting with tomorrow's episode. But let's just start off with the I wouldn't say the elephant in the room, but just the number one thing that stood out to me in this game had to be the fans. I mean, just an incredible showing from Mountaineer Nation. We all knew that this was going to be happening, but until you actually see it, you hear it, you experience it, you really can't appreciate it for what it is. And to see the city of Charlotte just covered with folks in old gold and blue all up and down the streets and restaurants and bars, and walk into the stadium, it's nothing but a sea of gold. I mean, it was a sight to be seen. And I mean, as someone that also covers the Carolina Panthers, I see this on a week to week basis where the opposing team kind of comes in and takes over Bank of America Stadium. But of course, you still have your segment of Panther fans that come in and cheer their team on, and it's not ever really heavily dominated, even though you might see 50-55% of the fans in the stadium be for the away team. But this is something I've never seen at Bank of America. I mean, it was ridiculously overwhelming how many West Virginia fans were there to take in the Duke's Mayo Bowl, a game in which was in the backyard, not even in their backyard, it was their house, essentially, in North Carolina, playing in their own state. It was just incredible. I mean, I understand Carolina had a lot of hopes and expectations that they didn't quite meet this season, and I'm sure a lot of that played into the decisions of fans to not go to this game, along with many players sitting out, most notably Drake May and Tez Walker. But nonetheless, I mean, we have to give credit where it is due, and for West Virginia to show up, that was really really incredible and not surprising to say the least. But we'll start there. So moving to the game, I thought this was a fun one from beginning to end. I thought the crowd was in it from the very first play of the game, and they gave them something to cheer about on the first play of the game with the 75-yard touchdown from Garrett Green to Traylon Ray. And honestly, I didn't think the offense played extremely well. And yes, they put up 30 points. You take the touchdown off the board from the punt return from Beanie Bishop. That's 23. I mean, it was an okay outing. But again, it's a bowl game. You haven't played in over a month. You've got some different pieces out there. You don't have Zach Frazier at center, your All-American center. You don't have C.J. Donaldson in the backfield to kind of offset the speed and versatility of Jaheim White. So taking all that into consideration, I think they managed pretty well. Like I said, it wasn't a polished product, and I don't think anybody really expected that to be the case. But I think Brandon Yates did an admirable job for the most part, sticking in there and paving some some paths in the running game, did well in pass protection from what I saw. I haven't gone back and rewatched the game just yet, but my initial thought was that I didn't notice that Zach Frazier wasn't really in the game because he played pretty well, did Yates. So, obviously the fumble by DJ Oliver, you hate to see it for that kid because obviously he's been really eager and anxious to get in the backfield and get some reps, but for him to fumble his first carry, hate it for him, but he did get a couple more opportunities, and he's a guy that they're still very high on. So I don't expect his confidence to be wavered at all. I mean, stuff like that's going to happen. Could have just been you know too anxious, too nervous, and also got to credit the defender for Carolina too for making the play. But overall, offensively, it was okay. I thought they did well. Had a nice balance. They didn't have the same approach, I think, offensively as they've had all season, where they've kind of just held on to the football and dominated time of possession, which in this game they actually got out dominated, out timed in possession, and pretty significantly. So for them to be able to only have the ball, I think it was for 24, 25 minutes and win by 20. I did not have that on my Dukes Mayo bingo card by any means. Defensively, what an outing. I mean, for a team that has lost so many pieces from the portal, from a depth perspective, had a couple of injuries, that unit played extremely well. Again, considering that Carolina, you really didn't know what you were going to get out of Connor Harrell at quarterback because he had hardly any college tape. You had to go back to his high school tape at Alabaster to even kind of get an idea of what this kid might do. And I think he showed some flashes, and I think Carolina fans are going to be excited about his future because he is a true dual threat quarterback. Kid's got a lot of speed, real arm talent, a live arm. I think he's got a chance to be a good quarterback at this level. But that front seven for West Virginia just ate all night long. And it was never the same one or two guys. It was a multitude of people just really living in the Carolina backfield. And, Tommy Wadurajaye got in there a few times, Jared Bartlett, Tyron Bradley with the crazy one-handed interception. Again, probably something I didn't have on my bingo card, but unbelievable play that he made in a very critical part of the game where it was 17-10. Carolina's driving, looking like they're about to go and tie the game up, and then all of a sudden he snatches it out of the air. And obviously they didn't do anything after that interception, but it still at least took the momentum away, took Carolina and their points off the board. But just a huge momentum swing. Lee Koba in his final game, playing back in his home state, has 12 tackles, a tackle for loss. Anthony Wilson played big. I mean, Jared Bartlett had 2 TFLs and a sack. Eddie Vesteren played extremely well. I just think this whole group, from top to bottom, from front to back, really played a sound football game. There's only a few plays that I think they would have liked to had back, but I mean, to keep Amari and Hampton in check. I mean, this is one of the top backs in the country we're talking about now. I mean, to keep him to 3.3 yards a carry, that is impressive. I mean, and I don't think we can understate or underscore that enough. I mean, he is by far one of the best running backs in the country. Maybe top 10, maybe top 5. Outside of Ollie Gordon, West Virginia did not face a better running back all season long. So to keep him in check was impressive. Connor Harrell, again, a dual threat quarterback, had a couple of big runs, but for the most part, they were able to kind of corral him, keep him from busting loose some big runs. And, obviously the only touchdown that Carolina had was kind of questionable in my opinion because I thought J.J. Jones kind of pushed off of Beanie in that corner of the end zone to kind of go up and make the play. But I think, either way, you throw that play out. It was a very well executed game defensively. And then lastly, special teams couldn't have played any better. I mean, the one missed field goal from Hayes, it was a pretty lengthy kick, but he was perfect from there on out. You had the fake field goal where Leighton Bechtel damn near scored, and then you have the well, not the muff punt, but the punt that kicked off the heel of a Tar Heel. You get good field position. You had Beanie Bishop's punt return for a touchdown, the first since Tavon Austin, and for him to go in there and return a touchdown to return a punt for a touchdown, and this is a guy that hasn't done it all year. Preston Fox has been back there, and for him to go and do that, that was, I think, really kind of cool, and it honestly has to have helped his stock for the NFL, and that was another reason why they threw him back there to help increase his value. And boy, oh boy, did he take advantage! So terrific game all the way around. West Virginia won this game in all three phases pretty handily. Carolina just did not play well. Also, I think it was a mixture of the two, but huge win for West Virginia, 30-10 over North Carolina in the Duke's Mayo Bowl. They finished the year 9-4, as we spoke about earlier. So a lot of fun, a lot of fun episodes to come here on Between the Ears and on our family of shows that we have here on Mountaineers Now. Be sure to subscribe to Mountaineers Now on YouTube and follow us on X at the same handle. Go ahead and send your questions in. We do a mailbag usually once a week. We've got one live going on my X account right now at Callihan_. You'll see the GIF there. It says the mailbag is open. Drop your questions there, or you can drop your questions here in the comment section on YouTube. If you've got questions about the football team, regards to player retention, recruiting, anything, just shoot your questions in the YouTube comments there as well. So I'll get around to those and put them in the article. And maybe we'll do a mailbag here on the show at some point. I know we did one over the summer. So get your questions in. I'll get them answered here within the next 24 hours or so. And we'll be back with another one of these tomorrow.